All right. So got about 19 seconds there. One, hello and welcome back. It is Tuesday. Let's see what day we're actually on here. I lose track of the days. The 28th of December on a Tuesday. Um, Everybody's out of the shop today, as you can see behind me. I hope I'm kind of doing this right today. Don't want to move too much. Don't want to interrupt this to what I'm trying to do here. So um, again, it's just me trying to get over being uneasy about being out in the public and talking. Don't know if you can see my hair. Got it done today. Looks fabulous. Uh, I had to come up with a name for the podcast tonight. And every day I've got to do that. Every time I've done this far for this year. And they always leave it up to me and say, "What are we going to call the show?" Or "What are you going to talk about?" Or how's this going to go? And every time I get on, and I'm like, "Well, I wait till the last second and figure out, what are we going to talk about, or what am I, what I'm going to." And I know we've talked on the show about having a list and making sure that you're doing some things according to that list. And I know that's the way I'm doing my best to live life. But as far as the podcast comes, I really have been led to feel like every day just go with what it is that's happening, because that's what breaking bread is really all about. It's about the daily where you're at. It's not so much that it's pre-recorded, like Ray said. I was fixing to do this on a pre-record, and I'm hoping that while I'm going live, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Katy, Texas, it's a great place to live, awesome place to become famous in. But at the same time, the Wi-Fi reception that we have out here is absolute crap. And I've had people out here and IT people out here, and nothing at this point has helped my situation as far as this is concerned. After a year, or maybe longer than that I've dreamed of doing something like this, and even if nobody's listening, standing up and doing it, is to know that I finally have my own computer. I've made some steps in the right direction. I've gotten some things done that I needed to get done, and I'm here even if nobody else is. So um, I've noticed that the recordings we put up, or that I put up rather, lately, or from the things that we've done collectively, however I'm supposed to say that, so I'm not offending people. um, it's getting some views. They're small views, but it does look like the people who are interacting with the videos seem to be finding something from them that they'd like to continue to watch and be a part of. I don't know how this is working at 3:05, so if you give me just a second, I don't want to interrupt what we're doing, but let me see if I can get this to go live to my own Facebook feed for a second too while I'm at it. So anyhow, so behind me while I'm talking about it is the many things in life that can come along a person's way who are, let's say you own a business and you're chasing going after whatever you consider your success to be. I've listened to a lot of people along the way, like Gary V on his social media, and Grant Cardone, a few of the others. Some things I completely agree with, others I don't. But the one thing I see about Gary V is that, and it reminded me growing up in the church, is that if you see, I don't know how many times I let it be relatable in my life too, but if you see people out in the world doing something, and you as a believer think, well, that's kind of crazy, and they're going after that, but then you would start to think somewhere inside yourself, like, what would you do if that chance was you? Like, what do you think you'd be doing with it if it was yours? Um, and I know the heart of a lot of people that I grew up with going to church, they'd say, well, if I won the lottery, then I would, I'm gonna give a 10% of that to the church right away. I'm gonna give and donate even more, just because that's what you do if you got blessed with something like that. And I think, well, that's a very honorable answer, I think, for most people. Um, but for me, I thought to myself, I said, well, actually, I can share it from my shop. Uh, I'd rather just live my life in an entire way that whatever I have is available to God. And I know I've talked about some things over the past year that even I may need to go back from time to time and listen to them. Maybe just like my own Facebook memories play up, so that I can hear, at least on the Wednesdays, from Wednesday to Wednesday, what I have talked about. I may have always talked about things that might be considered to some people um, offensive. I might push the line a little bit. I might hurt some people's feelings. I might tell the truth that some people might not want to hear. And at the same time, it's my story, my podcast, and I'm just here trying to clear out myself and what I go through, and hope that in doing so, somebody else will listen to the story and then be encouraged to realize that I used to hate myself too. I hated everything about me. I couldn't stand myself. Um, and then when I realized it was all the things that had been I picked up, or things that had been put on me, um, it's been a lot in the last year to come as far as I have, to become something just like this truck behind me. Something that was neglected, caught on fire. It was an insurance job with a relationship. Um, Let me just write this. Check this out. Check it out. Your new favorite show. Love you. Check it. I'll share that back to my own Facebook page. I'm hoping I can find someone else to log on. Anyhow, um, I see my own personal life in a different view than I used to before. I know that there's all these references about broken, shattered things, and how God brings them back and repairs them. And one of the things I think people miss out most about those kind of conversations is something that I get to see, um, every day, just because it's in the physical for me. But I'm enjoying watching it happen in the supernatural to my friends around me. Um, Something like this truck came in, and somebody had a desire, and they had a certain price that they wanted to pay, uh, to enjoy themselves. And for myself, a part of that was like, I get to make money. Um, there's some big promises that came with this thing. There's some people who've said some things to me that I hope that they follow through with. Um, but at the end of the day, I've learned not to lean on people and lean on God. And I'm not always perfect as I've taken the path to follow Him, and what He's done for me. But if I take a look around my shop right now, and it's just, if I can turn this around without not interrupting anything, if you know me or do know me, and you thought or would tell me that a year ago I would have this big, amazing place, um, that I can enjoy, and that I can call home, and that I can help other people through, I'd have told you you're crazy. I'd have told you it's impossible. I walk through every day of my life knowing that I serve the God of the impossible, because even I counted myself out. I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was going to go. I just knew that, um, I folded and I gave up. And it wasn't that I gave up in a relationship, because I'd been had my heart broken by a woman. It wasn't because I lost a job, or um, lost a spouse, or a, a child. It wasn't like that. Is that I got into a spot where I lost myself so much in trying to chase who I thought I could be perfect enough so that God would love me enough so I could be blessed the way that I am. Because I've always been blessed. I've always had the gift. And for me, it might have been, sometimes I took full advantage of it, and I used it wrongly, improperly. But it's this past year of watching my life go by, seeing opportunity happen, and God allowing me to make different choices in different situations. This really gave me, a big part of hope that I want to share with other people, to just say, hey, um, I don't know that I'm ever going to have it all together. I don't know that I'm ever actually going to feel good enough for my family, my closest loved ones, my siblings, maybe people I grew up with, people I went to school with, um, people I went to church with, people that I actually looked up to in my life. Uh, I never felt like I would reach a spot where I was maybe an accolade of saying, "Hey, congratulations, way to go." Um, and it's because I was never supposed to. Um, Maybe it's some same people who've just been standing around for years waiting to see me do something greater than they seen the first time, and that's why they kept their mouths quiet. I don't know why God gave me this opportunity and chance. And I've had people ask me, said, "What are you going to do with it?" I'm going to stay humble. I'm going to stay the same old me. Um, I couldn't imagine ever living my life outside of what I do right now. I never imagined I would actually get a chance to live this life. It's not the world's fastest speed shop. I don't build the fastest cars. I don't build the prettiest cars. I don't. I'm not out here setting world records. Uh, there's things that I'm doing in the background, like building my own suspension company and marketing and things like that. That's because I own a business, and this is because it's what I do. It's a part of what I've picked up over the years that I'm trying to, continue to grow into this thing that it's been given to me. Because it's like, if God was going to give you a garden and tell you that it was fruitful, not that God said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a garden and it's going to be rough and rocky and it's terrible and you got to dig it and everything's bad." It's just, hey, by the way, you can either pick the rough, rocky garden, or because you're my child, you can have this nicer garden over here that you don't have to work as hard. But here's the thing: is this other one you're going to have to work really hard at all the time. It's backbreaking. It's difficult. The other one, I just want to have you're going to plant some seeds, and you're going to be patient, and you're going to wait, and you're going to thank me before the rain shows up, and you're going to praise me while the rain is coming in. Because you can't just continue to live through a good season of sun and everything being perfect. You have to have that chaos and that storm to live through and to trust God through. I don't know who that is, but hello, thank you. VOAFYL. If you can tell me what that means, I'd appreciate it. But thank you for saying something. I don't know how that got on here, and I think it's from YouTube. Actually, that's cool. You'd be the first person who's ever commented. We don't hold that down, figure out who you are, I guess. But if you go to this other garden, let me get back to that. You're gonna have to spend time with it, loving on it, taking care of it. But you're gonna have to be patient and trust that the growth process that garden's going to go through is going to be best taken care of in my hands, as I teach you how to cultivate and take care of what I've given you. Versus where you go over here, and because you've made the choice to go the hard route, you're probably not going to listen to anybody for a long time, and you're going to spend years of your life. You're going to go over there, and you were a teen, you were a young kid, you were heartbroken in your 30s or 40s. You're 67 years old now, and you know that life just didn't give you the choice of the good soil, but you've have this soil that was hard. Your life was hard. You went through some things. People put things on you that weren't yours. You suppressed some feelings. You pushed some things down. You held on to them. You didn't mean for them to bleed into other problems. You didn't know that the dirt was there and there was a rock 2 feet down from there, so the root couldn't get deep enough to really get you the support you needed to get that big fruit tree that you were hoping for. And then you get the opportunity where I want to say you get a chance to meet Jesus, because we all meet Jesus. Everybody meets Jesus a lot. Yeah, and I'm like a fight me on this one, but most of the people I know have been drunk, been too drunk, and you're hanging over a toilet and you're praying, Jesus, if you just get me through this, God, I just won't do it again. You go through a relationship crying over the edge of your bed, God, if you get me through this, I won't do this to myself again. You fail a test, God, get me through this, I just won't do it again. You fail your spouse, God, if you get me through this, I just won't do it again. You fail your child, God, if you get me through this, I just won't do it again. And we find ourselves coming back to Jesus over and over, saying, Jesus, Forgive me for this, but I won't do it again. One of the deepest parts in walk that you have to take in your walk is to take when you said, God, get me through this, and I won't do it again. And that's where you feel like you've been hanging by a thread. Your life's getting choked out of you. You can't hold on anymore. You wanted all the good things. They just didn't happen for you. You've had all the best of intentions while you're there. And somewhere in that, when you really turn this horrible thing that you thought you had, it's crazy. It's not even done. It's not even complete. This vehicle and you are a lot the way that God sees you. You may not look complete right now because you don't have a heart and you don't have a drive. You don't have nothing to turn all your lights on, nothing to turn you in the right directions. You've got a steering wheel, but and the shafts, but there's no connection between the two. You can't just walk in and expect for it to happen immediately. Because what you can't see is that he's preparing a new heart for you. He's preparing a new path for you to travel down and to go through. He's reinforcing everything about you while you're stripped to nothing. So this truck was burnt up, discarded. It was an insurance job. Relationships are like that. It's an insurance job. This was a relationship between him, the bank, his finances, and the need in his life. And the saddest part of the start of where this truck came from is that there's a man out there who felt like it was more important to pour gasoline over everything he had and set it on fire to get somebody else to pay for his mistakes. And so for me, the lessons that God teaches me is that he sees us the same way. And so now this truck's been in my hands. And this is cool because I have this truck because it came by a reference. Andrew Sullivan said, hey, I've seen this thing that might help you out. I know you've been looking in a lot of other places, but check this out. And so I did, and I got there, and that's how we got that emotional story. So now that we're done with that, you get this truck that we cut and we shortened, and we started making it into something it never was before. And the design is that although people on the outside will see it as one thing, on the inside, it will always know that it's an F-250 long bed, two-wheel drive gas engine frame that's been shortened, but it just doesn't look the same as it did before. All of its body's been stripped off. It's been transformed into something it wasn't never intended or supposed to be. But when this particular one was made, it didn't know that it was going to have a hard life that it didn't ask for, and go through some things that were terrible to everybody else, and everybody else would just discard. They just get thrown away. Like, I love going through things and bringing them back to life because it's like there's so many things, there's so many people out there the same way. Like, they're so broken, they're so beautiful, and so yet discarded, and they get set aside because nobody's ever reminded them that no matter how broken you are, when God finds you and you have purpose, you're going to be recreated into something that's great and it's beautiful. And for us, that transformation and how God ministers to me as I work and do what I do, I love the chop shop. You come in, it's about servicing the vehicles, it's about servicing the souls, it's about communication, community. I know that we're here with our shop, and I'm looking forward to pushing the shop. I didn't know how I was going to do this, and I'm still working through all the details. But to really open up how many thousands of pictures and videos I take that I've held on to so that I could share with others. Each one of them, it's been something that's so amazing along the way, because I end up with a shop where I get to do what I love to do. I get to meet some of the most beautifully broken people that God's ever made. And I love how when you know somebody's been through so much, they see life so much differently when they understand how deep the grace is that truly took Jesus to the cross. Like, we do some silly, stupid stuff to ourselves, and then we blame others. We do some things to ourselves, and then we fail to blame ourselves, and we fail to change and do these things. Jesus died even for your stupid, silly things. But if that's what we thank Him for, how much more should we be thankful for what He forgave us for the not so silly, stupid things? The things that we don't talk to others about, the things that we only talk to Jesus about, the feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. A lot of us come to Jesus and we ask Him to forgive us, and people look around us and say, wow, they got forgiven of a lot. Those who have been forgiven of much, they know it and they show it. I hope that it doesn't take a broken moment in your life to become an insurance and fire job for just a payoff to get out of a relationship. But I'd say if I know that your life was going to end up in the same kind of hands that this truck would, when you turn your life over to Jesus and let Him tear you down to nothing and prepare you and make you something so much more beautiful than what you imagined. Because this might sound silly, but it's one thing to be the gas engine, plain Jane, 2-wheel drive. Maybe somebody puts wheels and tires. You get a fancy paint job. You get lifted. You get passed down through the family. Somebody's, you know, boyfriend wrecks grandpa's truck. That's horrible. There's other times where you get to be something more like this. Rebuilt, taken apart, and assembled piece by piece. And I've had an absolute blast learning to do this with you while helping teach others how to do this. And no matter how hard the path may be that's been laid before me, I know I might have picked a hard gravel dirt road, but God was been kind enough to bless me with the bulldozer. So there's going to be better days coming. I think some people just choose the greener pasture. Um, I like the process. I like the process of seeing things, you know, built from the ground up, and that's what I'm trying to do here. It's what I've been trying to tell my friends about. It's like I love church. I love people. I love the community. I love the church body. I never really felt like I fit in anywhere with everybody else because I felt like I was going through something like this. And in doing so, it's something that makes you stand out. It becomes a conversation piece. And all of my tragedies in my life and all the mishaps and the choices that I've made, I see God just taking and transforming that into something so beautiful that I mean, I'm hopeful for what I can see right now, but I know it's the things that I can't see because He's God and I'm not. And maybe you're rolling through your life and you're feeling like everything's pretty good and you got everything under control. I mind you, when I was in the same position, I thought, man, I got this. And then God said, no, no, no. No matter how good or bad you're thinking about yourself, He's always seeing you in the way that He wants you to be. He's just asking for you to listen to Him a little bit. You know, start shutting some things out. And we're going to get into some very deep conversation over the next little bit. Just some things I talked about with some friends quietly that I feel like it needs to be public. And that's the fact that our world is a wreck. And that's because believers aren't really believers. They're just people hanging out in churches. So we'll touch on those subjects as we go. I just want to say thank you. I'm hoping this is like the prelude or the, I don't know what you say, like the intro to your book, your life book. But yeah, the breaking bread thing is, I'm thankful for. I'm happy today. I'm very comfortable in a place I didn't think I would be. We got about 25 minutes in. I think that's pretty much perfect for a half-hour listening show for anybody. So if you're riding along and you're able to hear this later, pick it up, play it. It's short enough so that while you're on your way to work, take a listen to it, share it with somebody else. Please, this is a full interactive thing. I get people who watch, but we need to get more people sharing and putting it out there and understand. I'm praying to God every day that He helps keep me in the right way to help, speak this and deliver it to everybody else. And I know there's days it's going to be wild and crazy, but the thing is, I feel like I'm just a living testimony of what God's doing. And if you want to just have me stand up and hear me preach or speak or something like that, I'd rather do it some other time than just when I'm on here, because this is about, as I said, me coming on here, breaking bread with you. And sometimes there's people going to be here. Wednesdays, we know we're going to break bread with people. So that's cool. But daily, your daily bread thing, I'm gonna try to stay to this. This is day 2. Watch one of those. We'll see where we're at in 365 days kind of thing. But I've always wanted to do things like this, and I find it. I want to encourage you to, as I get ready to wrap this up, take the next few days as you go into the new year, and everybody will be doing this. I know we're going to be doing it here at the shop, and you're going to be doing it wherever you're at. If you're listening to me, understand, I already get this. You're going to make some choices in the next few days, because everybody, whether we like it or not, we're a Monday person. Like, we're going to do it next Monday, but it's just New Year's Day, and that it's on the weekend, so it's easy to slide in and say, well, it didn't really start on Monday, and you got lazy about it. Take your life seriously for a minute. Take the next few days and start asking yourself, and maybe you're not going to listen to this till after it's the first year, but when you get to this, find a spot where you're going to say that's today. It's preferable that you would do it today. But start making some changes today. Check off that list that you've been holding on to. You're going into New Year's. Try life a little different this year. As you go into next year, try doing life a little different. Everything up to this point, if you're one of those people still making resolutions, it ain't worked. And it hasn't worked because, like Ray says, you haven't stayed on the diet. And whatever that diet's supposed to be, if you're trying to build your business, then get on that social media, post those things, put yourself out there, keep pushing. It's the way the world and business is going. Go make your money. If it's your relationship with Jesus, take it more serious. And in your walk as a believer, if you think you're okay right now, and you can look at the way the world is, so that's a very dangerous position to be in too. Because I go before God every day and ask Him to continue to keep me on His path and keep me in His will and keep me doing what He wants me to do. And even though I want to jump up and grab the steering wheel and say, no, Daddy, I got it, I know that He's going to put me in the back seat if I just don't sit still with Him in the front seat. Sit still in the front seat for a minute. You can enjoy the process. But you're not going to get to where you really want to go until you stop trying to mess with the steering wheel. Stop making excuses saying you got to get out and go to the bathroom because it's going to take too long. Don't just fall asleep on the person taking you there. Especially if Jesus is driving the steering wheel. I think I would want to stay awake and have all the conversation I possibly could while I sat in the front seat. And maybe the best part of that conversation is the fact that we're quiet and we let Him do the talking. And we just get to enjoy the ride. Because I'm sure He, just like any other father, has planned a trip with his family and wanted to take them. And all they wanted was the best of what their intentions were that they felt like they had. And none of us fathers are God. But we went with the best of intentions with our family. And it's very difficult when dads are trying to lead and they don't have any support. So we're going to open up a lot this year. We're going to have a lot of fun. I will be posting on different medias during the day. Some stuff will be just for the shop. Those things are going to drop. Those are going to be the pre-records. Anything that I do that's a live recording, this is me, this is live, this is for what we're doing. The rest of it is just kind of fill you guys in on the projects. I got to get the little camera and put everything on the video. The Wi-Fi is not good enough for that. I did a test run earlier and it just won't hold. So If I just do a record where it's not on the Wi-Fi, I can go back and edit it in and do what I want to. But I really want to show you guys my builds, show you guys what's coming up. This thing will be leaving soon. I got a super sick 67 Mustang. It's coming in. It's convertible, 30,000 miles on it, something like that. The buyer got burnt. And now it's at our shop, so it's going to go under a really cool full tubular. We're keeping the Mustang body, but pretty much everything underneath it's going to be something along these lines. You'll never expect this sweet little 67 to come along and just outhandle or do. So like I said, I'm very, very happy and very enthusiastic. Got a ton of good stuff coming through. And I just want to say thank you guys. It's like 30 minutes here. Told myself I'd keep it to a half an hour. So going back and forth, let me say I love you. I thank you for your support. Please like, share, comment, say something, be interactive. I just can't wait. Like I really can't wait. Like there's so many good things happening, and I don't even know how to go about putting them all together or processing it. But this thing's about to leave, and I'm just very hopeful and enthusiastic for what's coming. The next few should be cool, but I'm still learning the process. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Jesus, I thank you for today. I thank you for your grace and mercy. I thank you for everything you've done in my life, God. I thank you for the past year that I've gotten to sit by and watch you, God, allow me to be in the passenger seat while you were been getting me where I'm going. And Father, I'm sorry that sometimes even myself, I want to reach over and grab the wheel and take it from you and decide where we're going to go. And Father, I'm sorry that I get in the way of what you're doing in my life. But Father, I thank you that you continue to take me along your path and you continue to guide me. And I just ask that you would encourage my friends who listen to this, encourage those who would hear it in the future, and just let them take that time to realize that it's not just a resolution, it's a life change. Take that life change for a moment, God. Just help them to and open yourself up to them, that they would see, God, that you're looking for them to take the same steps. Father, I thank you for all this, and in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I'll see you soon, and I'll see you tomorrow for our regular show. So you guys have a good one, and shut this one down. Still learning on this laptop. Double click. Still doesn't work. Enter broadcast. I should have bought a faster computer.